All right, get comfy and let's dive deep into dreams. This is going to be fun. We're taking inspiration from an IELTS podcast hosted by Ryan and Emily.
And before you think IELTS not for me, trust me, this is relevant to everyone.
Dreams, right? Who doesn't have them?
Exactly. We're going to look at how different cultures view dreams, how to remember them better.
Even how they've sparked creativity. Think of this as Dream Interpretation 101, but way more engaging.
Totally.
So in this IELTS podcast, Ryan and Emily tackle those big dream questions we all have, but they don't just give you the textbook answers.
Right. They bring in their own experiences, making it relatable.
Exactly. Like Ryan talked about how vivid dreams really stick with him. He even described this one amazing dream he had about hiking through this magical forest. It sounded incredible. Then Emily added how emotions play a huge role in remembering dreams.
I love that they do that. It makes you
Okay.
think, right? What about your most memorable dream? What makes it stick out to you?
Mine are usually the ones that are just totally bizarre and surreal. I don't know why, but those are the ones that stick with me.
Interesting.
But anyway, back to the podcast. They also got into whether dreams actually hold meaning. You know, that question we've all pondered at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Ryan thought they could reflect subconscious thoughts, but also admitted some just seem random.
Makes sense.
But Emily brought in a whole psychological and cultural angle.
Oh, how so?
She suggested dreams could be our brain processing stuff, or even tapping into these ancient beliefs about messages from, the spirit world.
Whoa, that's cool. So you have Ryan kind of grounded in what we'd think of as modern psychology, like Freud and Jung exploring the subconscious, and then Emily acknowledging that historical, cultural view of dreams as omens or messages. Like in ancient Greece, they would sleep in temples, hoping for messages through dreams.
Right. It really makes you think about how our background shapes how we understand dreams.
Totally.
And speaking of memorable dreams, Emily shared this really cool one where she was with David Attenborough documenting wildlife. You could hear the excitement in her voice. It obviously left an impact on her.
I mean, who wouldn't want to dream about David Attenborough? But what's really interesting is how this dream connected to her passion for nature conservation.
Yeah.
It's like maybe dreams can influence our waking lives, showing us what's important to us. Have you ever had a dream that did that? Influenced your choices or interests, I mean?
I'll have to think about that one. But we can't forget the big question. Why do some of us forget dreams so easily?
Ah, good point.
The IELTS podcast had some insight there. They mentioned REM sleep, where our brains prioritize waking thoughts, and they suggested keeping a dream journal to help remember them.
Ah, the dream journal. It's a classic for a reason.
Right. Imagine all the crazy stories you could record, like your own personal Netflix series.
Ah, exactly. And you might find recurring themes, symbols, even insights into your subconscious. You could be your own dream detective.
Okay, so then the podcast got super practical with this role-playing segment, simulating the speaking test.
I love that they did that.
Like Ryan had to describe a dream where he was flying over mountains and rivers. Sounded epic. And Emily used a dream about a futuristic city to come up with a short story idea.
What I liked is how this segment showed the power of using descriptive language and personal stories, just like they were teaching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They emphasize going beyond yes and no answers, adding detail and examples, which is good advice in general, not just for a test.
Absolutely. Makes your communication more engaging.
They also talked about using a variety of vocabulary to make your answers more interesting and paying attention to pronunciation and intonation.
Right, because no one wants to listen to someone monotone, right?
And they stressed that it's okay to make mistakes. What matters is staying calm, confident, and getting your message across.
They also emphasize structuring your answers well. Starting with a direct answer, then an example, and finally a reason or reflection. Don't just tell me, show me.
Right. It's impressive how they broke down something as potentially intimidating as an English proficiency exam into these simple steps.
Definitely. With practice and guidance, anyone can improve their communication.
So if dreams can inspire creativity like that, what happens if we try to remember and analyze them more? Could it lead to new insights or ideas?
Wow, what a great question. Maybe keeping that dream journal is the key to unlocking those hidden creative pathways.
Maybe those random nighttime adventures are trying to tell us something after all.
Perhaps they are. And by paying attention, we might uncover a whole world of possibilities. But for now, let's take a break, and we'll continue this deep dive into dreams in part 2.
Until then, sweet dreams. Welcome back to our dream exploration. Last time we were looking at some really cool ideas from this IELTS Prep podcast, all about talking about dreams and how they might connect to our real lives.
We were also thinking about the different ways people view dreams from the modern psychological takes to those rooted in ancient traditions.
Right, and one thing that stood out to me was that contrast between Ryan and Emily's views on whether dreams actually mean anything.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Ryan seemed a little unsure, like maybe some dreams reflect the subconscious, but others are just random. But Emily brought in those psychological and cultural angles.
Right, she suggested dreams could be our brains processing stuff or even tapping into those ancient beliefs about messages from, another realm.
Exactly.
It's kind of like their different views mirror this bigger debate about dream interpretation that's been going on forever.
Uh-huh.
On one hand, you've got that scientific approach, looking at what's happening in our brains while we sleep, the role of REM sleep, how our daily experiences affect dreams.
Right, and they actually mentioned that during REM sleep, the part of our brain that solidifies memories
Right.
is less active.
Yeah, that's probably why remembering dreams can be so tough.
Makes sense.
But then you've got the symbolic or spiritual interpretations of dreams, seeing them as a window to the unconscious, maybe even containing wisdom or guidance.
Right, like those ancient cultures seeing dreams as messages from gods or ancestors. Makes you wonder if there's something more to dreams than just random neural activity.
It really does.
Even today, people use dream dictionaries to analyze symbols and recurring themes, or go to therapists who specialize in dream interpretation.
Dream dictionaries can be fun, right? They offer this whole symbolic language for understanding the imagery and characters in dreams.
Definitely.
Though, of course, you got to take them with a grain of salt. Not every dream symbol has some universal meaning. Sometimes, as Freud said, a cigar is just a cigar.
True, but it's still fascinating to consider those different layers of meaning, whether it's scientific, psychological, or cultural.
Agreed. It adds to the mystery of it all.
And speaking of mystery, remember Emily's dream about meeting David Attenborough in the jungle? It obviously resonated with her deeply.
It did, even influencing her interest in nature conservation.
It makes me wonder if any of our listeners have had a dream that inspired them or changed their perspective on something. Have you ever had a dream that affected your choices or interests?
Definitely something to think about. Maybe it wasn't life-altering, but just left you feeling inspired or curious about something.
I know I've got dreams that stick with me, especially the vivid, emotionally charged ones. Always makes me wonder what they're trying to say.
Those are the ones that make you think, right? Like your subconscious is trying to communicate, but in a language we don't quite get.
Exactly, and that's where the dream journal comes in, right? That's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that's suggested in the podcast. Write down your dreams to help remember them and maybe spot patterns or themes.
Exactly. It's like mapping your inner landscape. You might uncover anxieties, aspirations, even creative ideas that you weren't consciously aware of.
You know, I used to think dream journals were just for hardcore dream enthusiasts or something, but now I'm kind of intrigued by the idea.
It can be a really cool journey.
Yeah, a fun way to maybe tap into my creativity, explore my thoughts and feelings from a new angle.
Definitely a tool for self-discovery. Who knows? You might even discover hidden talents or insights.
I like the sound of that. So we've talked about meaning, cultural perspectives, even the science behind forgetting dreams. But what about those times when we do remember them and they're just weird?
Ah, yes, the realm of the bizarre and surreal.
Like talking to animals, defying gravity, that kind of weird.
There are a few theories about why our dreams go off the rails like that.
Tell me everything.
Well, one theory is that during REM sleep, the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain for logic and decision-making, is less active.
So we're basically running on autopilot.
Kind of. It lets our emotions and instincts take over, making for those illogical dream scenarios.
So it's like our inner child gets to run wild, no logic or reason holding them back.
Exactly. It's time for pure imagination. Think of it as your brain's nightly improv show.
Uh-huh. That makes so much sense. It explains why I sometimes dream I'm back in high school, taking a test I haven't studied for, and I'm in my pajamas.
The classic anxiety dream. It shows how our subconscious fears and worries can manifest in these bizarre, often hilarious dream scenarios.
Like our brains are processing those emotions through a series of absurd skits.
Maybe they are. And sometimes those nonsensical dreams can offer insights into our waking lives.
So it's not always about the literal content, but the underlying emotions and themes.
Exactly. It's about looking deeper, asking, what's this dream trying to tell me? What feelings are coming up? What connections can I make to my real life?
Like they're sending a coded message and we got to crack it.
Exactly. And the best way to do that is just pay attention, write those dreams down, reflect on them, and see what emerges. It's all about self-discovery.
That dream journal is sounding more and more appealing, like a direct line to my subconscious.
It can be, truly.
But before we go too deep into the dream world, we should probably get back to that IELTS podcast and those role-playing segments.
Oh, yeah, those were great examples of how to answer common dream questions in a detailed and engaging way.
Remember how Ryan described that dream of flying over mountains and rivers? It sounded so adventurous, and he connected it to his desire for new experiences.
And Emily's dream about that futuristic city sparked a whole story idea, showing how dreams can fuel our imagination.
Right, they weren't just giving abstract advice. They were showing us how to communicate effectively and memorably.
And that's what makes the IELTS podcast so valuable. Even if you're not taking the test, it's about learning to communicate your experiences in a way that connects with others.
It's like they were giving a masterclass in communication, all wrapped up in this exploration of dreams.
Absolutely. And those communication skills are essential in every part of our lives, whether it's relationships, work, or just casual conversation.
It's about finding your voice and sharing your story.
Beautifully put. And who knows, maybe by exploring and sharing our dreams, we can even inspire others to do the same.
I love that, like we're all connected through this shared experience of dreaming.
Now, as we wrap up part 2, I'm curious, what's resonating with you the most? What's standing out as particularly interesting or thought-provoking?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's the idea that dreams can be more than just random neural firings. They can be creative, inspiring, even a path to self-awareness.
Like they're whispering secrets, inviting us to explore our minds.
And who knows what we'll find? A hidden talent, a new perspective, maybe even the solution to a problem that's been bothering us.
The possibilities are endless. And that's the beauty of dreams. We've only just scratched the surface.
So where do we go from here?
Keep that dream journal close, pay attention to those nighttime whispers, and see where they lead you.
Who knows what adventures await?
Sweet dreams.
We're back for the final part of our dream exploration. We've covered so much ground, from the science of sleep to the cultural interpretations of dreams, and even the power of keeping a dream journal.
A lot to think about. And remember those tips from the IELTS podcast about acing the speaking portion of the exam? Well, they're actually useful for everyone, not just test takers.
Right, because improving communication skills is something we can all benefit from.
Absolutely. Whether you're presenting at work, sharing a story, or just having a conversation, those tips can really make a difference.
It's all about being clear and engaging, right?
Yeah, exactly. Remember how they talked about going beyond those simple yes or no answers? Use descriptive language, paint a picture with your words, and structure your thoughts logically for a more captivating story.
So it's like, don't just tell me about the dream. Make me feel like I'm there.
Yes, exactly. And they really emphasize the power of storytelling.
Oh yeah, those role-playing segments were great examples of that.
Remember Ryan's dream of flying over mountains and rivers? So vivid.
And Emily, using her dream about a futuristic city as inspiration for a story idea, it shows how dreams can really spark creativity.
It's fascinating. Those segments were so effective because they used personal anecdotes and descriptions to bring their words to life.
So it's not just what you say, but how you say it.
Precisely. And they also talked about using a variety of vocabulary, being mindful of pronunciation and intonation, and maintaining that calm, confident presence.
It's like they snuck a master class in communication into this dream exploration.
You got it. And the best part is, these are skills you can develop with practice. Pay attention to how you communicate, be mindful of your words, and keep striving to improve.
Even if you're not taking the IELTS anytime soon, those tips are golden.
Now that we're wrapping up our deep dive, what stands out to you as the most impactful takeaway?
There's been so much to consider. I think for me, it's realizing that dreams are more than just random nighttime thoughts. They can be a source of creativity, inspiration, and even a way to understand ourselves better.
It's like they're trying to tell us something.
Yeah, and who knows what we might discover? A hidden talent, a new perspective, or even a solution to a problem.
The possibilities are endless. The study of dreams is truly captivating, and we've only just dipped our toes in.
So where do we go from here? What's next on our dream journey?
Keep exploring. Hold on to that dream journal. Pay attention to what your dreams are telling you, and see where they lead.
Maybe we'll uncover even more amazing secrets hidden within our dreams.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
And sleep tight.